to replace a pressure release valve in a water heater. My situation was that I went through a regular maintenance on a water heater, which involves simply pulling that little lever into an outward position, and what that does, it releases some pressure from the water heater and makes it come out from this copper pipe into the CPVC, and it takes it all the way out outside the house into this little release pipe over here. And what happened is, after I ran that quick test, which is recommended you do every couple of months, I noticed that the water would not stop leaking. So I realized that I had a bad valve. It would never go back to a fully closed position. And so I had two options: spend hundreds of dollars on calling a plumber, or fixing it myself for less than $20. Well, I chose to fix it myself. To do that, the first thing I had to do was to drain all the water out from the water heater. So the first step was to turn off the water coming into the heater. Now, if you look up here, there is a little valve over here that you can turn off. The problem with my particular configuration here is that there's only one for the cold water, but the one over there for the hot water doesn't have a valve I can close. So I had no way of effectively shutting the inflow of water to the water heater. So in my case, I had to find the main water valve for the entire house and shut it off. Once I confirmed it was shut off, I went ahead and I turned everything off here. So first thing I did is I found the gas line and I shut this thing off. I then went ahead into this section over here, and I changed it from on position to off position by turning the dial clockwise. And I also turned the temperature down counterclockwise all the way down to where it says vacation, to the last setting. And this way I effectively turned the water heater off to avoid any any possible gas or, God forbid, for explosion. So once everything was turned off, I went ahead and I drained the water out. So this is the place where you drain the water. So I hooked up a garden hose, and I ran it out through this door outside. If you don't have a door nearby, you can drain it into a bucket. And to drain it, you simply turn this dial over here using a flathead screwdriver. Just turn it counterclockwise, and the water should come out. It could take 10 minutes or so for everything to drain. You just keep your eye on the water flow until it stops. And once it's drained, then it's time to make a trip to the Home Depot or Lowe's, wherever you want to go to get some parts. And what you need is to get the pressure release valve over here. The best thing to do is to take it with you so you get the right size. This one is pretty standard size. I got one for like $12 at Home Depot. And taking this thing off was a little difficult. It was stuck in there pretty good. I tried using a wrench, a pretty good wrench that I had, and I could not unscrew it. What I had to do is I had to take off this copper pipe off, unthread it here from here first, and then use the hammer, and I just hit that thing like crazy in that position. I hit it really hard to unthread it from the water heater, and once it loosened up a little bit, then I used a wrench and it came off. But it was definitely a struggle to get it off. Once I got this thing off, obviously you can't really take this thing off until you do something about this whole connection over here, right? Because you don't want to break all the PVC connections. So once this is drained, I actually went ahead and right here in the middle of the CPVC, I actually cut it. Just used a saw to cut this section. And then once this was unthreaded, I took this whole section with me and the pressure release valve with me to Home Depot, so I know what size I need. And so I was able to find this piece really easily, the pressure release valve. I didn't need that part because I already had it. Note that this one has some welding down here, which is a little more complex for, I guess, average person. So you'd rather not mess with this if you don't have to. So I was able to save this whole part, not touch it. And what I did is the place where I cut the PVC, I got a coupler. And this is a 3/4 of an inch coupler that I used to reassemble it. You need, this coupler is not a standard PVC. PVC cannot withstand a hot temperature of a water heater that could be 150 degrees or more, and it would melt. Right? You need a CPVC coupler in order to repair this, which has a higher temperature rating, and it's in a different section. It's not going to be in a normal section where you find PVCs. If you need help, you can always ask somebody to help you find the right one. And I tested to make sure that it fit into this this pipe. Now, other thing you need is a special cement that again has a high rating for temperature. And again, you need the CPVC cement, not the normal PVC cement. And this one's going to have this orangey look. You can still use the standard primer before applying the cement, the one that is used for PVCs as well. And applying this is really simple. There's actually a brush in there built into it. Okay, that's how it looks. It's a little brush, and all you have to do is actually rub it around the areas where you're going to cement. And don't be afraid to use a lot of it. It's not going to hurt. Once you prime it, and you can see some of the remnants of the primer right here that kind of drip down. Once you prime both edges of the pipe, also do the inside of the coupler, and then immediately afterwards, don't have to wait. You can just put the cement, and again, apply liberally in the area where it's going to contact both on the pipe and the coupler. And this stuff dries real quick. So once you put it on, you want to go ahead and apply the coupler in here. Shove both of the pipes in and give it a couple of turns back and forth to make sure that it's applied correctly. And then you have to wait 12 to 24 hours, kind of like overnight normally, for this to dry before it can handle hot temperature. But you don't have to wait to go ahead and refill your water heater. So once this is done and you wait for like 15 minutes, you can actually go ahead and make sure you shut down your release valve over here, but turning clockwise. And then you can go ahead and open your water main, or if you have the correct valves for the water coming in, you can open that, let the whole thing fill up. But again, don't turn on the actual gas, because this takes 12 to 24 hours to dry, to handle hot temperature. So just fill it up, and then the next day, once you go ahead and go through the steps. Usually there's steps on the water heater on how to turn this thing on. It's pretty simple. Turn the gas on, and you turn the dial into the lowest temperature. Turn the dial on top to pilot, and you push this red button over here on the side, and then you push this little trigger to light it up. And that's how you light it up. There's really good instructions on the side here you can read through. And once you have it on for like an hour or so, you can then test the pressure release valve, and you can simply, the way you do it is just hold it like this, and you pull it a little bit. You're going to hear the sound of water being released. You probably heard that. Okay, and what that does again, it releases water down this new pipe that I just repaired. And if I go outside, I should probably be able to see the water coming out. Yep, and you can see how the water is now coming out. And you want to make sure that it's going to stop. Remember, the problem I had originally is that it would not stop because it had an oil valve. You probably can wait a minute or two until it stops dripping. And as long as it stops dripping, you have a good valve. And the reason you really have this pressure release valve is for your own protection. If the temperature exceeds certain temperature, then it will automatically cause this valve to be engaged, and release extra water.